inganda yasiga pepere ya Kariba FM yakumuletsera iprogram yandene golokoina kujisi ibasoroli uzamugati mutabi wa Human Rights Commission. Omu program munogana nobyo itwambo itujatigiya ibasi mirandu alimwe abasiwerwa imirandu.
Good evening to you, our dear listener, and you are listening to the special program on rights of a suspect as well as a detainee and also the rights of a child. So I'm your host for the day, Jane Bota, and in the studio I'm not alone. I'm being joined by Mr. Foster Hamuyube. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and good evening, listeners.
All right, I'm also joined by Mr. Kebi Malila. Good evening.
Good evening, Jane, and good evening, listeners.
Well, Mr. Simon.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, listeners.
All right, so maybe Mr. Foster, before we proceed, all right, so before we proceed, maybe you can just introduce your positions and what you do.
Okay, maybe I should repeat my name. Maybe people didn't get it correctly the first time. My name is Foster Hamuyube.
Okay.
I'm head of research and planning at the Human Rights Commission.
All right.
In Lusaka. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Head of research and planning.
Yes.
What do you do?
Basically, the main function of my department is to conduct research on human rights issues, as well as generally to monitor the human rights situation in the country and report to various mechanisms. Nationally, we do produce a report that we normally present to the members of the public. We also produce reports that are submitted to international mechanisms such as the United Nations, the African Commission on Human Rights, and different other forums that may be interested in our reports.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you. Mr. Kebi Malila.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. My job entails investigating the reported cases of human rights violations.
Okay.
So whenever a person comes to the commission, lodges a complaint that their right has been violated, it is my department that deals with the investigation. We get to the bottom of the story so that we provide a remedy for that particular person.
Okay.
In addition, I'm also the focal point person for child rights. I coordinate all activities pertaining to child rights in the commission.
Oh, okay. That's great. Mr. Simon Mulumbi.
Yes.
Good evening once more.
Once more, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be on this radio station. I think we appreciate, and also just to say to the listeners that I'm a principal information officer. We are together as a team from the Human Rights Commission. I'm involved in human rights education, training, and maybe I can take advantage. I'm sure people would be wanting to know about the Human Rights Commission because what we've spoken, it touches on the mandate. And you may want to know, those who maybe are hearing for the first time, the Human Rights Commission is a national human rights institution established under Article 230 of the Zambian Constitution as amended in 2016, and it has a very specific mandate to promote and protect human rights. And this mandate includes investigating the violations of rights and freedoms. It also includes that the Commission should take steps necessary to secure redress where rights and freedoms are violated, that the Commission should endeavor to resolve a dispute through methods like negotiation, conciliation, and mediation, and also that the Commission should carry out, which Mr. Foster talked about, Mr. Hamuyube, research on rights and freedoms, and also to conduct civic education on rights and freedoms. Perhaps this last one which I've mentioned is one of the mandates that has brought us here. to come and conduct education awareness, as you mentioned, on the rights of suspects, people in detention, the inmates, and others. And I think just also to say one thing further is that what has brought us here from Lusaka is a project which we're implementing in 3 provinces, including Southern Province, Lusaka Province, and Copperbelt Province, looking at enhancing the promotion and protection of the rights of suspects, accused persons, and all those who are found in detention places and others. So this project is being implemented, trying to raise awareness. We are targeting people in the communities, people in the communities that they need to understand these rights. They also need to know what to do when these rights are violated. We are targeting the stakeholders, like Zambia Police Service, the law enforcement officers in general. So we're trying to bring them together so that we discuss the issues and hear from them the challenges. So as I'm talking, we'll be having a discussion in Chirundu on Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. But also we have radio programs like what we are doing here, which we are also carrying out as a way of disseminating the information. And we have materials that we are producing. So all this is to address these challenges that are coming from the violations of the rights of suspects, which we've seen to be a big problem. And one of it is because of the lack of knowledge or understanding. And also there's just abuse of these rights, even by the law enforcement officers and other duty bearers who are supposed to be promoting and protecting them. So even as I'm speaking, we'll be going in the communities to go and sensitize, raise awareness about these rights. So this is what has brought us here. So even tomorrow we'll be in Chief Simamba, where we'll be doing this kind of thing.
All right. So you talked about protecting and promoting the rights of detainees, yeah? So maybe you can just start by explaining what are human rights?
Yeah, maybe this program because I think what Simon explained is very important.
Yeah.
So kutatuendera ntomwa batamujiguwa kutaliga buzwa muntu mboteya kumwira kuti muntu ndiza wakatwala mulawo kuli baba bajisinguzo yakwanga muntu pakapokola nankaba corruption commission nankaba zawa oloba kumba muntu ujisinguzo yakwanga muntu kuti watwala mulawo kuzwa buzwa mboteya kumwira kuti muntu ndiza wakatwala mulawo bamujata kuli bantu abo namba police bamujata bamutwala ku police station bamubalira mulawo ngwakachola na mulandu ngwakachita bamana bamwanga bamutwala ku prison na nanka ku sometimes ndiza bamutwala straight ku court. Yeah. Kusika kamboka ko kahwigwa mukoti judge wachita decide kuti muntu okay wachura ye wakauchita mulandu nchobene na ataka kuchita mulandu wamuchita washout te. Aba bantu balijisi nguzu hipebe kwinda mu mulawo wajisi mbobere uti bachani mbobere uba treated aba bantu bachani baendelea mulawo.
Okay.
I think moto yabo yakumbere kwamba la magana ba Simon abambo Toronto mwe tunayabo pandura stage kuzwa kuja twakwa muntu kusika kamonoko yawo kwa mkoti kuti no bajisima rights abuti bantu aba in a broader sense tatwambiwa muntu when we say suspect tatwambiwa muntu uyero twachora mulawo. We mean even those bali muntolongo bauti wakandiza wakapoka kakamana bakamujatira mutu ulamulandu nchobene muntu. So these are life for life no muntolongo muntu. So bonse bantu tanda kulanga uti no bajisima rights abuti na ibu kwabirirwe buti amulawo wamboti batene kubanyongani bantu batene kuba batati kuba shupi kubantu baendera mulawo.
Okay.
So precisely. Now coming to your question, I think you are asking
what are human rights?
What are human rights? So human rights mujitonga jelashupa upandurula, but I'll try. I'll try. But mbugwabirire bupikirwe mu mulawo gumuntu uli wonse utekwa muntu humba muntu uli protected uli gisima rights by birth mbo halirwa byo muntu kambombo tuli muntu uli gisima rights uyarwa ma rights ali uli kwabirirwa mulawo wamboti muntu akwe kubola byomba asikira suno jenita ndikuyandi mbobonika kwakumarubai. So those rights are protected. Someone cannot just come and beat you. Okay. They are not happy with the way you look, or maybe ndizo mugaga musimbo mugaga okay wandiga rubai. So you have rights, you are protected. That's why kuti muntu wakuita bo ba police walabola wocheni bamujata. It's because ihurumende ndiperwe nguzu ya wochani yakukwabirira ma rights a muntu.
Okay.
So basically, my rights, these are freedoms. These are freedoms which are protected by laws that have been put in a country. In English, maybe my friends could simply try and put it in a different way, but that is my interpretation.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, that's very interesting to find how you're mixing Tonga and English. It's very good for our listeners.
Yeah, Mr. Kevi.
Yes. Human rights are those basic entitlements that a person has simply because they are human being. So there are certain things that we are born with. The right to life, the right to liberty, the right to free speech.
Okay.
You know? So we say rights and freedoms because you are born with these things. They cannot be taken away from you. You enjoy these simply by being a human being because you are born with them. They are inborn. They are inherent in us. Okay. And so these are the rights that are protected, as Mr. Foster has indicated. The state has the duty to protect all these rights that everyone within the territory called Zambia enjoys these human rights without any violation. No one should violate these rights. So the state is the major duty bearer, has the duty to protect these rights.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Simon.
Well, I think it has been said well by my colleagues. Maybe of interest, maybe we could also, because these are very broad rights. I think we could look at the specific, issues that relate now to why we are here, which are the rights of the suspects, the rights of these accused persons and the others. I think what I can add here is that these rights, they are not absolute. Not all of them are absolute, with the exception of very few ones. And I think one of them is freedom from torture. I think we'll talk about the details.
Why is it that not all of them are absolute?
Because there are certain limitations that are required for those rights for different purposes. For example, is for the protection of the rights of others. Because if you are going to enjoy your rights unlimited, in an unlimited way, you are likely to step on the rights of the other people.
Okay.
Then there is also the public interest. You have, in the interest of a public order, public health, they talk about public health and safety, they can limit your right. For example, if there is a disease in a particular area in this Siavonga district, and they don't want people to get infected or to spread it, so they will tell you, you cannot go to this place, or you cannot move or leave this place until that situation is put under control. So in the name of human rights, you cannot violate that, because now you also be violating the rights of other people. You are likely to infect or carry the disease to the others. And also they have the responsibilities which people must know. So it's not a blanket that everything you can claim at any time without those responsibility and requirements which are needed in our society.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Kebi, maybe if you can just briefly explain to us who is a suspect and when does one qualify to be called a suspect?
Thank you so much. We started by saying every person has human rights. And one of these human rights is the right to personal liberty, the freedom to move about as one wishes within the confines of the law. But there are times when a person is suspected to have committed an offense, and therefore their liberty is curtailed because the police are now investigating the circumstances that pertain to that issue. And therefore, the liberty of that person is temporarily interrupted. Okay. So they arrest this person probably and put them in custody, restricting their free movement. Okay. They are no longer free. So this is why we are saying one becomes a suspect once they have committed an offense which is prohibited by law, and the police have the mandate to investigate to find out whether or not they committed the alleged offense. So a person becomes a suspect once an offense has been alleged to have been committed.
All right.
Now, this is where, in the context of what we are discussing today, this is where once a person has been suspected, the liberty is taken away from them.
Okay.
As Mr. Mulumbi said, not all rights are absolute. There are times when your liberty is affected, is interrupted, or is curtailed.
Okay.
So you find that a suspect's rights are now, a person's right because he's a suspect, are now restricted for the purpose of the police to investigate that particular crime. But there is what we call the right to the presumption of innocence. If you are a suspect, it doesn't mean that you have committed the offense. You must be presumed to be innocent until the court of law has proved the case against you.
Does that law apply here in Zambia?
Yes, that is what the law states. But okay, whether it indeed applies in Zambia is another issue for me and I to discuss. But what the law says is that a person must be presumed to be innocent until he is found guilty by the courts, the competent court of law.
Okay.
Or they have themselves pleaded guilty.
Okay.
Then the innocence moves away. Now, if a person is innocent, they should be treated with dignity because they are just suspects. They are still free. They are still innocent. They haven't been found guilty. And so they have all these rights. They must be informed immediately they are arrested of what charge they have been arrested with. Secondly, they must know, they must have legal representation. If they have a lawyer, they must ask for that lawyer to come and be with them at the police station. They also have the right to remain silent if they are being questioned. If they decide to, they can say, no, I'm not going to say anything. And the police are not supposed to beat you because you have remained silent. Because this is the law as it is. So, a person has the right to remain silent. A person has the right to access the outside world, to be visited by the relatives once they are in police cell. They shouldn't be restricted that you can't be seen by your relatives. They are free to have visitation. They are free to access medical attention or health. For example, a person is taking art, for instance, but they are suspected and they are detained in police cell. They must be given access to their medication so that they do not disturb the cycle of intake of this medication. So there are several rights that accrue to a person who is suspected to have committed a crime.
All right.
Because they are innocent until they are proved guilty.
All right, Mr. Foster, maybe you can just briefly explain that in local language.
Yeah, I'll try. Mubuhwahwi muntu uyera otwakachita mulandu tayareri kutunduru wape. That's in a very I'm trying to be as precise as I can be. Mubuhwahwi maningi muntu wera uti wachola mulago kama kuyerwa vyotana tako muntu wakabika kale bumboni munkuta wamboto muntu uyu wakauchita chimene mulandu ngwairotwa awochita. So uya muntu ujerwa biwoti wachita mulandu tari kuti wakazurwa munkuta pe abobo taire kuti atundurulwe taire kumwa kuli baba bahimulawo namba polisi pamujata kuti natakaki kwinka ku polisi kuti wabakamucheni bakamumbalire mulawo ngwakachola taire kuti muntu umwe na nchoba kuti bantu muntu is being beaten now, is being slapped mama bai kuli bakapikola tajelele pe.
Yeah.
Such
incidences happen. We see them in the community.
Exactly. And now those are things that we are hotuambira banabule wamboti kuti namwe jibona chituja muhobo jirajitika mwabambira aba Human Rights Commission. Na kama wabambira bendele hiba bamujirigiti. But this with the commissioner, they are there, they are our leaders, they should listen to these complaints as well. So Human Rights Commission tirigonse. So we believe that the local leadership batu solidera mujirigiti motukala bere uti boba imini nanzi boba imini Human Rights Commission pabona bantu balatundurwa bere uti bahamba na uti ni winka kwa ambola abagaprogram boti chintu cha muhimbo tajika kachitika pe.
Okay.
Muntu watolwa ku polisi na wenda uti inke a lawyer ya kumwimini na mugambo noga nohiwa ku polisi bere uti ulangu zwa uti ni yawinka a lawyer wagwe.
Okay.
Guti na muntu utakwa hiwambola jigua na wina muntu ukwa kuwambola mujishobo nchangwa muntu oyo bere uti babike muntu uchani usandurula na interpreter kuti wa muntu abani kumpandula mulandu wako ngo akachita kamwihirira kwamboto muntu mulandu kwende kachita ngongo yongo batani kubamba bantawa kama bala mumu ya kumamanyo kwamboti hina ozumina mulandu ngotwa kubaliro hena. So wele uti na uire kwamboti enda uzumina mulandu oyo na henda zumina ka uira aluhibo mumutwa gahi uti nchenda mbawala nchonchi kani nchendere uti ndamba ole.
Okay.
So now enda winka lawyer wele uta jane lawyer we yakumuteni yakumwimini no hinje wamba bamalira heta maybe iji ndizazumi kuti ndipito ndisandurire honse but mubu kwao.
All right, so we just going to take a short commercial break, but then we'll be right about. And of course, if you're just joining me right now, it is a special program. And of course, in the studio, I'm being joined by Mr. Foster, as well as Mr. Kebi and Mr. Simon. Mr. Foster is the Chief Research and Planning Officer, and Mr. Kebi Malila is the Senior Investigation Officer, as well as the focal point for children's rights. And Mr. Simon Molumbi, who happens to be the Principal Information Officer. So we're just going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
Mauto mwana jundu kamba munsondo achinja 1830 hours inganda yasiga pepere ya Kariba FM yakumuletsera iprogram yandene golokoina kujisi ibasoroli uzamugati mumutabi wa Human Rights Commission. Omu program munogana nobyo itwambo itujatigiya ibasimilandu alimwe abasiwerwa imilandu mutagaindwi kujibera age ijibotu ibuzwa na uli munsondo achinja 1830 hours. Kariba FM yikusaragwa nu nenobuleya.
Muvera chabati jele ni pamuzako manjene nati kuchira kunkala chape mujele peta nipitirize kupunzisa abantu so chape mbichana pamene tikali kuyembekezera kuti tingachokeri iti
chalo chili chonse chili na malamulo
naimwe muri kunja muzikipempererako please.
All right, so welcome back, and of course, still on the special program, of course, with me, your host, Jane Bota, and of course, as I said earlier, we are with people from the Human Rights Commission, and of course, talking about the rights of suspects, as well as the rights of a detainee and the rights of a child. Now, rights of a child is something that needs to be talked about. If children have rights or if they do not have rights. But before we talk about that, Our phone lines will be open very soon, so you can just get to call us. Mungatitu mile pa manamba zaya 0960-640303, 0960-640303, or 0978-047259. 0978-047259. Mungafunse ma question yanu, or maybe you can just contribute. If there's a contribution or if there's a question, you can just come through and make sure that you ask those questions, and then bantu bali muno mu studio baza kuyankani yonse mafunzo yamene mungafuna ufunsa pa program pamene bakaliko hapa. Mr. Simon, who is a detainee?
Well, a detainee is a person who's been taken in custody, and usually for the reasons of, for example, having been suspected of committing a crime, and they take you in custody basically for the purposes of making sure that you can be available for you to appear before the courts, and it relates mostly to certain types of cases or offenses. It's not all offenses. For example, there are offenses that are unbailable. For example, when you commit murder, they will take you into a police cell until the case, is taken through to the courts, and so on it goes. But also I can mention here that there are other cases you don't need to be taken into a detention or police. For example, theft. There is a provision in the law which requires that you can apply for police bond. So when the police have arrested you, they say we've arrested you, you have a right as a suspect. You are being just suspected. Remember, you are still innocent. Mm-hmm. So you can apply, say, I want a police bond. Then the police officer in charge or any other senior officers who have the responsibility, they need to facilitate. So as long as you are, because the police bond is just for you to say, I'll go home, but I'll make myself available whenever you need me and in court.
But they are both suspects. The one who has committed murder and the one who has just stolen something. They are both suspects. And you said a person is not guilty until proven guilty by the court of law. So then why would you give the other one, police bond, and then the other one you don't?
Yeah.
Because they are both innocent until proven guilty.
That's a good question. I know my colleagues will come in, but the law has differentiated these offenses. The other one is they call it a capital offense. I know Mr. Malira will come in, which the law says you have to be kept there. That's what the law is that we've enacted. So on the other ones, which are other offenses, minor offenses, they'll still secure you. You can get somebody sign for a bail. Okay. You can get us for a police bond. You can, as long as you meet the conditions, they should not have a problem to give it to you, as long as you make yourself available. So that is one thing that is important. So not all cases should take somebody into detention. And also maybe to add before Malira comes in, when those who are detained, in case you fail to meet the requirements for police bond, okay. Maybe you don't have surety or somebody to come and sign for you, there is a requirement that they must be taken to court in the shortest, the possible shortest reasonable time. And I think what is given here, specified in the law, is within 24 hours. So you don't need to over detain somebody. Let's say like we hear 1 week, 7 days, 30 days.
So you mean
that is not,
a person is supposed to appear in court within 24 hours?
They should take him to court or her to court within 24 hours.
Who's taking who to court?
The police, because the police have arrested you. So they've arrested you, you are a suspect, must ensure that you are taken to court within 24 hours.
So what you are saying is, if I'm arrested and I'm not, I don't appear in court within 24 hours, the police have committed a crime against me, is it?
they have violated the law.
Rights.
The law. They've gone against the law that requires them to take you to court within 24 hours.
Is there a penalty for that?
I'm sure my colleague can add on that one. I think to explain further, Mr. Malila.
Thank you so much. I'll begin by looking at the offenses. We have offenses, serious offenses, for which there is no bail.
Okay.
These are offenses like murder, aggravated robbery, treason, and a few others that are so serious, like for offenses against the state. We also have some offenses under the Drug Enforcement Commission, trafficking in psychotropic substances. We are not given bail when we go to court. So these are isolated cases which they have said they are so serious we cannot allow a person to be freely moving about. They are still innocent, but the crime that they have committed are so serious. There is no bail for such. The other cases are minor, and therefore a person can access bail or police bond, as Mr. Bloom indicated.
Okay.
Which was the question that you were saying? Yes. When a person has been over-detained by police, they have the right to actually seek court redress. They can go to court and sue for unlawful detention because the police have broken the law in detaining this person beyond the stipulated time.
But Mr. Kebi, I want to understand one thing.
Yes, please.
Are there any records that such an incident ever happened and the Human Rights Commissioner did something? Do you have such records?
Oh yes, we have several cases that we have investigated over lawful detention, and we have facilitated for people to be compensated through the state coffers. And sometimes we also have the police officers who have been involved disciplined by the authorities.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you talked about a capital offense. I want to understand what a capital offense is, Mr. Foster.
A capital offense, example, mlijo wa power malira is now muwa nyoko wa power malira kwa mli uja ya muntu.
Okay.
Uja ya muntu mula wangu tuwakapanga mujisi mwauti uja ya muntu mulandu mupati. Iguinda mulandu waku babiwo banani nsipa njo bamonji ntoro. If you have stored, these are Colgate compared to killing someone.
Okay.
So imola wakapa wandanya mumilandu jibantu jibajiti kuti wachita mulandu muhonto balakuzumya kuti waika ku police wakwamba kuti amundipe bond kuti hojisi bantu bakwayo kukusayinira balakusayinira bamba kuti omuntu kuti na atakajiko akakagirwa kubora kuno tuyo muyanda ora tutamujani tuyabumweta
all right
kuti na kutajisi chichuba byo kuti kutajisi bantu bakwayo kukusayinira pesi kuti na kutajisi bantu bakwayo kukusayinira bayi bakatora gamba kunkuta ulawa ukunyamna kwanza bate wamba bajaji wamba uthi ngikundijisinzi ndilomba bero.
Okay. All right. Maybe what causes the hearings to delay, especially when a person has been detained? What causes that? You said a person should be heard in the court of law within the shortest period of time, which is 24 hours. Within 24 hours, one must appear in court. But you find that in most cases, that is not the case. People take months, others weeks. What causes that? And you, as the Human Rights Commission, what's your take, or what do you do?
Yes, indeed. This is why we are out here to try and sensitize the people on what their rights are when they are suspected to have committed a crime and they've been denied police bond or they've been denied bail. When a person has been denied police bond, we indicated that once a person has been arrested, they must be taken before the courts of law within 24 hours. Failure to that, police have breached the law. So a person who has been arrested must know these rights so that they can either take the state on for a lawful detention.
Okay.
When they come out, so that the police do not continue over detaining people in police custody without taking them to the courts of law. When the matters go before the courts of law, it's a totally different issue. There are adjournments, they are allowed also time to engage lawyers, so we wouldn't go into that area. Our subject really is to see that the suspects are quickly moved to the courts of law, because the court needs to know that a person has committed an offense against the state.
All right, so people, you can still call us. Mungatitumile pama numbers aya 0978-047259 or 0960-640303. Olo mungatile mbele, check a message. You can write us that text message and then we'll get to read it out or pick up the call, and then the people that are in the studio will get to answer all your questions. One last question concerning who a suspect and a detainee is. Maybe in a case where there is no lawyer and one is in court, how is it? Has there been any instances where one is in court and you said one can maybe buy a lawyer so that they can stand for them in the court of law? And now where that person doesn't have the money to get a lawyer, how is it? What do they do?
Thank you so much. I hear you said the last question. We haven't spoken about children, so it will be very...
I meant depending on the detainee issue. I meant on the detainee issue.
Thank you. A person has the right to legal representation. Meaning, if a person is a suspect at the police station, they can, if they can afford, they can hire a lawyer of their own choice to represent them. But if they are not able to do so, they can also approach the legal aid board. I think they are all over in the districts now. The legal aid board for legal assistance. The legal board will assess the case and be able to assign a lawyer to attend to that case free of charge. That person will not need to pay, but there is a registration fee, I think a small amount of money that they are asked to contribute. But basically the legal representation is free. But for offenses, capital offenses, it is mandatory that legal aid representation is given. So whoever is charged with murder, he will be represented by lawyers from the legal aid. They are always given lawyers to represent them. Yes, that is what the law is.
That's a good one.
Yes. So a person can either hire their own lawyer or they can seek legal aid help to give them legal representation.
All right.
I think the problem in Patinja which bantu banjita bahiuti uliga bunga kwa kuba palo uwa kuba imene. Bantu belele ukujiba kwamba kuti kuliga bunga ka government kapa ma lawyers. Kuti nawe anda lawyer waita ku legal aid board. Kulitubunga bunga ndiza muno musha banga kuti litubunga bunga twabantu tumani jios. Kuti mabuya buya kuma njio ba umpa ndida mbwa kuja na legal aid olona bakagula kuja na legal aid bala ndiza ba law association bala kuyanda ula lawyer mukabunga kama lawyers waje na muntu badanga muntu mbapengede bala kuja na ndiza lawyer kwa kutani kumwimida mtoya. So people should not give up and say I don't have money, so I should just go to court and whatever the court will decide, let it be. They can still get a lawyer.
All right, now looking at Siavonga, you may find maybe somebody is saying, I don't know where to access the Human Rights Commission. Here in Siavonga, is it that you have to travel to Lusaka or just within?
Just call 8181. You'll get through to us.
8181, and then you get through to the Human Rights Commission. All right, so maybe
just before you shift away, just the one addition, right? Which is very important. The issue of being treated in a humane way and with dignity, including not to be tortured. Usually, what happens that when somebody is suspected of committing crime, then the police and other law enforcement officers, when they're arresting you, they start beating you, slapping you, and sometimes they will start, trying to get more information from you. They will squeeze you.
And
which we call
talk that.
Yes, and people who end up saying even what is not the truth, what not really happened. So you find that because they want to be free from that pain which they are being subjected to, they will just say anything, that the officers want them to say.
So you are saying
that is torture, and it is prohibited by the Constitution, and even in the law it's prohibited. So what we are saying is that when people are found in such a situation, they need to report to the Human Rights Commission. One is the number that Mr. Foster has given, 8181, and that will help the commission to get more information and follow up on the matter. So when somebody is in a police cell, in any detention facility, they are not supposed to be subjected to any form of punishment, inhuman treatment, or anything that will harm their body, whether it's psychologically or even physically. That is not allowed, and it is a serious, offense. It's a serious, violation of human rights, which, like Mr. Malila said, they can be, be taken on based on the law and even be prosecuted.
So you are saying that under no circumstances should a detainee be beaten in order to force them to answer to their question. So if they don't want to answer, they don't have to beat them.
Because
and in instances where you'd find that at times when maybe policemen, if for instance if they were to come here, and you'd find that sometimes the moment that they want to take you to the police, they won't just take you there. Maybe they'll
that is wrong. That should not. When it happens, people should really report those matters. The police are not supposed to do anything than just to arrest you, secure you, and you appear before the courts of law. They cannot punish you. They cannot do anything to you. They don't have that power or authority to harm you in any way.
Okay. All right. Then we can proceed, I think. All right.
Just to add that there are instances when a person who is being asked to go to the police station resists arrest.
Okay.
So when you resist the arrest by the police officers, there is what the police are entitled under the law to use minimum force. Now that is what is misunderstood. Minimum force is merely force that is to enable the police subdue you. For instance, you are a very violent person, so they want to subdue you so that they take you properly to the police station. That should not be taken to be a punishment by the police, and it should be proportionate to the resistance that you are putting across.
Okay.
If you are not resisting arrest, you just walk to the police station. They should not harass you in any way, as Mr. Blumi said.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So maybe who is a child?
Thank you. This is yes. You're giving me the opportunity now. I'm happy because this is a special category of people who are not here to speak for themselves, and I'm very happy that I can speak for them now, so that the listeners out there understand a bit more about rights of children when they are suspected to have committed a crime. A child is defined variously by a lot of acts of parliament and laws.
Okay.
But the standard definition is that one which is provided by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child.
Okay.
Which is that a child is any person below the age of 18 years. So any person below the age of 18 is a child in the eyes of the law.
Okay.
Yes, so that is what a child is. Now, I want to just mention that in Zambia...
Right. Maybe if we can just pick a caller, and then we are... Kariba FM, hello.
Hello, Kariba FM.
Yeah, hello, you are through to Kariba FM. Your names and where you're calling me from?
All right, aba ni Banchimunya Kudambiro.
Okay, Banchimunya Kudambilo.
Ya program haiko nkamshemushe ya kusoka pe mwambi ya kufika hapa mene muliri.
Okay.
Da maja tima dabwa che monga pali ba polisi. Kupeze kati muntu bamupeza ni uyu manje bifu bamupeza na mlandu. Kupeze kati bamumenya kuipa vija kuti muntu olmembi sazi palasa zazi ulula. Kaya vatitandizeko ba vimangala bwanji.
Okay.
So chamene cho chabe kumalengeza ati vantu maybe na chamene sazi vachikambira maparasi manja zapeza kati ni azankhala na mlandu amene sanzifuna onkhala nayo mlandu. So batithandize pali yonkani please tapapati.
All right, zikomo.
Muzi wachakutambiro kono ni kumunzi bakuti bena ngokulibe vebaziba. All
right. Thank you very much. Zikomo kwambili. I'm sure you heard that one right. He's saying there are times when the police vanyamola muntu by force. Okay, let me just pick this caller. Kariba FM, hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your names and where are you calling me from?
Thank you. You are talking to a man who doesn't make a mistake when he speaks, unless just by mistake.
Okay.
Yes, this is Mr. Soko calling from Matinangala.
All right, Mr. Soko from Matinangala. You can go through with your question or contribution.
Yes. I think can you do me this favor so that each and everyone can get something from my question?
Okay.
Can you allow me to use my mother's time?
Ndimwe wolandilika maningi mungayozinge chitundu chili chonse.
All right, thanks. Let's hope those people they understand Tonga, or maybe I can use Nyanja.
No,
or Bemba.
they speak Tonga. Yes, they speak Tonga.
Wonderful. Basa ne wende simubu yo mangenda te kwendi be clarified. Muntu for how long njere de wutegwa abe detained mu selo kata ninga unka ku court.
Okay.
Cause ndabu habo bamwe bantu sunonga bamujata under suspect bamu keeping maybe more than 1 week. Then after good a week uli muntu wabuje ne kwamba wuti is truly innocent bagalibo it was just a suspect bumuyela. Then that person hena gwina mulawo umwi unga wa mwimi na ulotegwa ago nyigusuinga nkuta either to sue the court so that for that time that they have dragged for him ila nchiba musowela utegwa bago nyiguchitani di kumujitira refund bamugo nyigumujita compensate kumubadala cause I like the whites bagwa bamba the wasted time never be recovered in life. You know, the wasted time never be recovered in life. Then it's no muntu bamujata for 7 days gake de mumasel for just a suspect. Omana muntu bagumulega bamba no to gomland you are innocent. Hena uli muntu kuli kwere degunka on such issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Please.
All right, sir. I'm sure you heard that one. We have 2 callers who called. For calls or contributions, you can just call us on 0978 047259 or 0960640303. Okay?
We have said it on this forum that
we've got a caller on the line.
Okay.
Kariba FM, hello?
Hello, this is Benson.
Come through.
Benson.
Okay, the problem, I wanted the line for those people. I have to talk to them.
All right. Mr. Benson is saying he wants your line. He has to talk to you.
Okay.
The problem.
Hello?
The problem, I want to talk to them.
Okay, we'll get the number from the station and then we'll call you.
We'll call you after the
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you.
So we are saying that we've discussed on this forum that no police officer is allowed to beat a suspect. So beatings, torture is not allowed in any way. And so if a person is beaten, they have the right to actually sue the state. How they do that is by approaching institutions like our institution, the Human Rights Commission, would be able to advise them on the way how they can proceed with.
We've got a caller on the line. Kariba FM, hello. Bwino mwachoma mazina ya nakwamene mchitumila. Okay, kuma fishing camps. Okay, munga ende na contribution olukapena ni ma questions munga funse.
Nilifunza hapo chabe kwa nilikuwa na problem last week.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, munga kambe.
Nilikuwa na problem last week.
Okay.
Problem ene zenayo mzanga winango abura bamu konga kumabondi bamene baba kazi After that, wakapokora uja muntu wanafika kuja tuwapase statement. Nabwera bagirirapo mamuna wanamugirira kuma 24 hours inobora omuchosa kuma 04 atikira impossible.
Ati vanamuchosa because
vanamugira kuma 24 hours then nobora omuchosa kuma 04 atichosa 600 anachilipira 600 nobora omuchosa manje is impossible wakapokora kusevenza so
600 yamene analipira inali yachani
iyo 600 that's why ni pempatandi zoti nimvere kuti nja muntu 600 anailipira bwanyi nobora omuchosa 04
banamupasa receipt
kulibe receipt kunalibe docket kunalibe end document anachoka naye.
Okay.
All right. Zikomo.
We have taken it.
So hapa ni tulikuwa na vute ya kutiondrama ba madam ambao wanaikongola chabe kumina mlinga bwelele bwanyi because ndrama ya vuta kuti zeke kuluye ya mungu.
Okay. Nanga officer amene wanapasa ndrama mumuziva amene anapasa ndrama.
Officer amene anapasiwa ndrama angazivike sana sanga vute cause inali Friday to Saturday night. Sotinga sakire mini vamukamba tibanda.
So kunali bantu banali nabo bazano aba pamene banamupasa ndrama kunali ma witnesses
kunali mkazi wao then na mlendo wao mmoja.
Okay sir, we have heard your complaint. We'll see maybe we'll get the details and talk to you later.
All right. So you heard those concerns, and of course, looking at time, we are behind time, but then we'll get to wrap up very soon. So maybe you can just say something about the questions, and then you can continue on who a child is and the rights of a child. Kariba FM, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I'm back again. This is Mr. Sok again.
Okay.
Yes. I've got a problem also which happened a year ago. That issue is more like a certain place bantu kubagari bw'inkagugulima. Those people bagajuba banajuba mitengo and they started farming to the same place. So afterwards the council they just came in baja bantu nobawuza no imwe bantu simuli suppose kuti mukazili maumu after bamazimai nkote banavutika kujuba mitengo kanso nabwa chabe nobapisha mu myunda muja ma plots ya jano yagulisa kuli bantu benango. So now the question is, so aba bantu chikamba kulibe chabe mwenango mwamene bangatandiziliwe cause ndiye mwamene benzo jela ndiye mwamene banajuba mitengo after council yawonta abantu bajuba mitengo yi they have done a certain part. Then the council just came in and no kama no mwenka timuchoke mu place. So as I'm speaking bantu benangu bagona chabena manjala odonvula this CS na gwebino lo madezi amnenze kugwa bino bantu wanasoba na kolima. So there is no any other way government mwamenenga tandizilile bantu aba longati kungachitiwa okuwachita compensate somehow baje amene banajuba mitengo eja kuti baje bakanso baonere kuti ni myunda inankani ma plots. Because the council, they don't go where there is bush. They just go where they have seen that there is something which is developing. So if there is any way, and I'm requesting those people to call me also, or either, but passing my numbers here so that we can talk more and find out a lot of issues. Because such of those problems is paining us. When we see some big people, old people, when they're about 60, 70, so it's very unfair as if they are not Zambians. So if there is any way, then let those people give me the line, or let them just beat me, then I'll call them so that we can talk, so that maybe we can make an effort so that we can see them, please.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that was our last caller. Due to time, we are not picking up any more calls. Maybe you can just comment on that or say something, and then we'll continue with who a child is and the rights of a child.
Okay, I was just about to talk about Mr. Chimudia's concerns about police beatings. And Mr. Soko's first question on how long should a person stay in police custody. We have indicated that once a person has been arrested and denied police bond, they must be taken to court within 24 hours. That is what the law says.
Okay.
Or as soon as practicably possible.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours may not be possible when, for instance, a person is arrested on a Friday. So 24 hours does not count because there is a weekend in between. But on Monday, it is practically impossible for them to take that person to court. And therefore, we are saying that police beatings are not allowed. If a person beats, if a police officer beats somebody to extract information, that is torture. And these cases must be reported to the Human Rights Commission for us to investigate and be able to assist them obtain remedy.
Okay.
I think Mr. Malila has covered it well in terms of the responses from the callers. I think it's important just to ensure that especially where money is being requested, that they obtain the receipt, then to state the purpose why they are doing that. Even the police bond is supposed to be free of charge.
To understand one thing, is it allowed?
It's not allowed
To get money, like
from the
for the police to tell the person to say, can you pay this amount?
No, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. Where money is required,
because you are talking about issues of receipts.
Yeah, receipts is a proof that there is. But in this case, you know that even in traffic offenses, they will tell you to go and pay through a bank. So the police are not supposed to handle the money according to the current system. So it means they are not allowed. So that is just a proof to show that this happened. But they are not allowed. Even police bond, they are not supposed to charge you. Supposed to be free of charge.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I should just add that the brother who called, who said the friend paid some money. Here's the toll-free line for Anti-Corruption Commission.
Maybe you can just use that in local language.
A toll-free line here Anti-Corruption Commission, because by Human Rights Commission milimo ya bujua belega idande national to milimo ya belega ya Anti-Corruption Commission. So Anti-Corruption Commission toll-free line number ya kutumina free tawo nongo badela otuma kuliye number ngo 5980 ma network yonse free of charge otuma bakakutume chihumo number 5980 kwa Anti-Corruption Commission kuti wabakawa chani ikambo kuba nani ikambo kubamba kuti wakawa chani ba Anti-Corruption Commission bakakabweze bakakahuntawe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe just a continuation of where we stopped from.
Yes.
Who a child is and does a child have any rights?
Yes, indeed. A child suspect does have all the rights that an adult has. Legal representation. The child must be informed of the charge against him and or her, and everything else that an adult has. But because of the special nature of children, the detention of children or incarceration of children in police cells must be the thing of the last resort. You must ensure that everything else has failed for you to be able to detain a child.
Okay.
By the way, here in Zambia, the age at which a child can commit a crime is 8 years. An 8-year-old child can be charged with a criminal offense.
And who speaks for them in the court of law?
Yes. So we are coming to the process of the court of law. In the courts of law, they are not tried in the open court because they are a special category of suspect. It's called a closed court. Their hearing is held in camera. All that is done to protect the dignity of the child so that the child can still recover and grow into a responsible citizen. We do not have to destroy a child because it has committed one single offense.
Okay.
They still have chance to grow into responsible citizens. So their rights go beyond that of adults because they are tried in camera, they are tried in private. They can also be represented by their guardian or their father where they have law lawyer. Their parent can stand in and ask questions, cross-examine the other person. And thirdly, also we said that they must be treated with the dignity that they deserve. And all the time, before we even take them to court, we must use what are called other methods of diversion to divert the child away from the courts of law to, issues like probation, warning a child, counseling a child, negotiating with the party that has been wronged, so that children do not find themselves in the normal process of the court of law.
All right. So maybe if you can just briefly explain, how many years do you give children? Do they also go up to maybe 1 year, 6 months, 10 years? And if they are jailed for, if like you said, when a child has committed an offense, they are not arrested. Should I say jailed?
No. We are saying that in Zambia, a child of 8 years and above can be arrested for a criminal offense.
Okay.
But we are saying that detaining a child should be a thing of the last resort, unless you have tried all other means, because you can still trace a child through the parents.
But in an instance where you have tried all other means and you just have to, I'm saying this because I've seen in Mazabuka there's what they call katombolwa, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, there are children you find that 15 years, 9 years.
Yes.
So that's what I want to find out, to say how many years.
Okay. A child
and
is presumed...
can they go to school?
A child is presumed innocent until they are proven guilty.
Okay.
Now, the language that we use there, we don't say the child is guilty. Yes, we find them with an offense, or we find them with an offense.
You try to make it simple.
Yes. And so the court makes what is called an order. There are two orders. One, the order to go to Lakambala approved school, so that the child can continue learning there. Secondly, a reformatory order. A child goes to Katombora, where they remain until 3 years. The maximum period is 3 years. Or if they've gone there order already, until they reach their 23rd birthday. No one stays there beyond 23 years at Katombora. At Lakambala, again, it's a period of, because it differs in the ages that they take. Smaller ones are taken to Lakambala.
Okay.
And they can stay there for a maximum of, I think, 4 years.
Okay.
After which they are reintegrated into society.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think all has been said, all in all.
Yeah,
mostly the major concerns.
The issue that
but
is
then I would
raised.
like to find out, just before maybe you talk about issues, I would like to find out when a child, like if they're in Katombola, for example, is there anything that they do while they are there? Do they go to school?
Yes. They go to school. Those that are in the formal education, but also those that go there. Not everyone is in formal education.
Okay.
Some of them are just outside school. They are taught skills. There's carpentry there's chicken rearing, there's bricklaying. They are taught all sorts of skills, so that to help them when they come out of that place to be independent and probably get away from the life of crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just also to add, in a similar way, on the adults also, the idea that when, for example, a court has found them guilty and they are sentenced, let's say given a number of years to serve in a prison, they are also supposed to be there to be helped to change, to reform. Previously, we used to talk about prison and punishment. But now the law has changed, and even the thinking has changed, that we need now to do what? To rehabilitate and make a person better, so that when they come out, they go into society, they don't go into misconduct again, they don't do anything wrong, but they begin to contribute to the society. So that's why we have now what they call the Zambia Correctional Service.
Okay.
Is for the reason they are no longer called prisons, they are called now correctional. They are trying to correct you so that you are a better person.
But
and even what they go through, they will go through the same training that is mentioned. They are given skills carpentry, everything.
But with this collection of facilities that you're talking about, maybe after they've gone through the whole process and they are free citizens, maybe if you can give a percent, how many percent, talking about kids who go back to prison, to say maybe they are again arrested for another offense?
Well, maybe it's difficult to answer that. I think because we may not have this information.
Okay,
but I know. But of course, we hear once in a while maybe some cases that you've got somebody who's reoffended society.
But has there been no study of any sort to say, okay, maybe we can just look at this to say how is it that these children, after they've been released, how maybe the number of children that still go back, the same people?
Yeah, maybe chief research.
It's a difficult question, but the problem is that children's records are. There's no record kept for children, for offences committed by children.
Okay.
And even when they are released, for example, they grow up into adult, when they reoffend as adults, it will not be like they are second offenders or third time offenders.
Mm-hmm.
It will be first time. Because when they committed the first offence, they were still children.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the distinction. Okay. So most of these children, when they are released, they are already adults, and so when they reoffend, they committed these offences as adults. So they first offense.
All right, thank you very much. So
what I wanted to say,
we have to wind up
very quickly, just on that note, when they go into society, I think what is important that society should now accept and stop stigmatizing, because these people have gone through a process of being reformed, trained, skilled, and they want to contribute. So usually people still tag them, and that is what becomes a problem, because they don't feel like they're being accepted in society and have problems.
Okay.
And maybe also to say, I know you want to cross that, this is what has brought us here. So we are doing these programs, trying to sensitize. Like we mentioned, tomorrow we are in Chief Simamba from 9 hours, where we'll be meeting the subjects to talk about these rights, to enlighten one another, to educate, so that people are aware, and also further we'll also be engaging the law enforcement officers and others, so that they also begin to do their part in a way that they should do according to their mandate or the law that they applies to them.
All right, thank you very much. But then lastly, just to wind up, maybe what would you tell somebody out there who's listening to this program and has got a problem, and or if in future they were to face some of these problems that the previous callers raised, as well as the some of these issues that you've talked about?
Yes, part of the reason why we are here is also to build partnerships like the way we are doing with the media people here. When people are confronted with problems, they can get in touch with you, with the radio station here, and you can forward that complaint to the Commission for further processing and investigations. But they can reach us on the 8181 toll-free line using all networks.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. It is us who will be paying, so you don't pay anything. If you use MTN, Airtel, whatever network, you will catch us on 8181, and we'll answer your question or we'll take your complaint. Yes, and for the children, I think even for you, the media people, child offenders must be treated with dignity. You do not disclose their names. You do not disclose, the child at so and so school did whatever. That must be avoided, because children are a special category of suspects that must be treated with a lot of caution.
Okay. All right. Okay. So at this point, we have to say our bye-bye. Is like we are behind time. When the program is interesting, it's even getting interesting. So it's good that you people will be going to these chiefdoms tomorrow. And when?
Thursday. People will be in Chiefs Congo and Chipepo.
And Chiao.
All right.
And Chiao.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm sure if there's somebody out there mwazimvelela tibailo baenda kuli Chief Simamba as well as Chipepo Nimailoka. So Mazimvelela, if anything mufuna kumvesesa, you can just go to these chiefdoms ngati you don't have the patience yako ebati mungabatumile mungaende kuja, so that you be part of the people mene bazaka nkalapo kumbelelela paliva mene bazaka kamba. Talking about you know, it's good that you know your rights, to say what are my rights, what are human rights. You are a human and it's good that you know your rights. So at this point, we've come to the end of our program, which is the special program. And of course, in the studio, I was with Mr. Foster Hamuyube. Is it? That's Tonga. Mr. Foster Hamuyube, who happens to be the Chief Research and Planning Officer, as well as Mr. Kebi Malila, who happens to be the Senior Investigation Officer, as well as the focal point person for child's rights. And we also had Mr. Simon Mulimbi, who happens to be the Principal Information Officer. Thank you very much for coming through.
You're welcome.
And we hope to see you again, to host you on our show again.
Thank you so much.
Well, for now, it is a good evening. And of course, make sure that you stay tuned to Kariba FM 89.9, the choice of the people. I've been your presenter for the day, Jane Bota. Stay tuned.